Hey everyone, welcome to our review of the Flash Supergirl crossover entitled World's Finest, which is Season 1, Episode 18 of Supergirl. Today I have AListProductions joining me. Say hello, A-List.
What's up?
To get his opinions on the review. If you're unaware of A-List, he has made some of the best fan-made trailers I've ever seen, so make sure to check out his channel. The link will be in the description. So what we're going to do today, guys, is basically, I've got some points written down here. We're going to go through these points and discuss what we liked and didn't like about the episode. Is that okay with you, A-List?
It's more than okay with me.
Okay, that's great. So, let's start with the story. So, the story was that her Cat Grant's ex-secretary becomes the Silver Banshee, and she's got like a vendetta against Kara, and she teams up with Livewire to defeat her, and the Flash comes through a portal from his world to hers, and they have to team up and stop them. So, did you think it was good? Do you think it could have been more complicated, less complicated?
I thought the actual basis of the plot was we all know from anyone who's watched The Flash that he is extremely fast and only getting faster and trying to get faster. So I thought it was a cool way that he just kind of busts through. And then he saved her, and then of course the confusion starts. But the basic plot, I didn't really have an issue with it. It was just simple, two good guys versus two bad guys. Yeah,
I agree. I think at the end of the day, the main point was the fact of, like, the point of the crossover was to see them cross over rather than the actual story with the villains.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was like, oh, but there's no, crazy moment of anyone almost dying. I mean, everyone kind of knew it was going to be a fun crossover episode, and that's what they gave us.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to what you were saying about seeing him bust through the portal, I read a quote from one of the producers of The Flash, and he said we'll actually see the point where he leaves the Flash world to go to the Supergirl world, and I think that'll be in the next episode, because I thought it was going to be in the episode.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't read that, and I watched last night's episode of The Flash, and I was like, really? No mention of Supergirl? I was kind of bummed about it, but that makes sense if he hasn't done it yet on The Flash. That makes sense.
Yeah, I also assumed we were going to see something in The Flash yesterday, and like you, I was a bit disappointed we didn't, but as the producer said, we will see it eventually, so hopefully it's either in the next couple of episodes, because otherwise the gap between the episodes is going to be a bit strange. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so what did you think of the chemistry and the chemistry between Barry and Kara? What did you think of that?
I thought it was. It felt like they were in the same universe the whole time with how well they clicked. Nothing felt forced. It didn't feel like, oh, these people probably hate each other off screen. Like,
yeah.
You see, they were like probably playing and ad-libbing off each other as they did some of their scenes. I loved the scene early on with the, like, well, I need to eat a bunch of calories to maintain, and then she's like, you like donuts? Like, just like stuff like that was just great.
Oh,
great to watch.
It was cute.
Yeah, of course.
Kara is really cute, like, especially when he ran out and got the ice cream and then brought it back, and she's like, yes!
Yeah, of course. And I loved how well she plays on the awkwardness. I don't know. It just fits really well for that universe and everything. I loved even pretty much every scene they had together just worked magic. How she's like, for the record, I beat you here, and he's like, for the record, I did a perimeter check and then I got here, so I let you win.
Yeah,
like that stuff was just great, and it was just cool seeing it happen. Like I was talking to my friend last night about it, and we live in a time now where everything can literally cross over. I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago they're going to do a show that's not interconnected, them over. Oh, and then they're like the same thing with Constantine, not to go on a little soapbox here, but like they cross over that with Arrow. I mean, everything can literally connect now. If someone told me like, oh yeah, they're doing Smallville with Flash, I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. Like, I wouldn't doubt it today.
I agree. So, and that's probably all because of the Flash, because they introduced the multiverse, I think. Like, with,
of course, the time travel aspect.
Yeah, obviously it all started with Arrow, but they started Flash in the same universe as Arrow, and the way that they've made it cross over with even more is because the Flash can go to different universes. Yeah. Okay, so next point I've got written down is side characters. Mainly there's only one point here, which would be, what did you think of the sort of jealousy triangle between Jimmy Olsen, Barry and Kara.
I thought it was simple, but done in a tasteful way. Like, it wasn't like, obviously Cat Grant's telling her, like, oh, that's what you need to do. And it just so happened, like, right when they said it in the episode, I was like, Barry's going to be that person. And then he showed up, and I was like, okay, this is getting, like, oh, you don't need me, you need Barry. Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
like he wasn't good enough, more or less. But I thought it was done in a good way, especially with how they ended up ending the episode in a lighter note. But
yeah, it's very popular with TV shows to drag out a love triangle and make it quite annoying. So look
at Smallville and Lois. That was like forever.
Don't remind me, please.
Right.
The villains, Livewire and Silver Banshee. What did you think?
Okay, I'm not gonna try to be someone who's throwing negativity out on an episode, but they didn't. Why do much so negative? For me. I know, right? No, they were just. They didn't do much for me on the actual episode. They were just kind of like, they felt like villain of the week type villains. The one part in the entire episode I laughed because I really just couldn't take it serious was when she's like, we need a makeup do-over. I was like, what? Like, I would have liked it better had she maybe, when she used her superpower of the screaming, that maybe decayed her body, and then she started to actually look like that or something. I don't know, but it just seemed weird. Like, you're a villain? Let's go get in the makeup chair.
I was expecting almost like a montage of them like getting manicures and things like that. Yeah, no, I do agree. It wasn't taken. They weren't taken very seriously, and like as we said earlier, the main point of the episode was to see the Flash and Supergirl cross over rather than to focus on the villains. But another part that made me laugh was at the end where Livewire is like doing her electric thing and she's floating, and then she just gets defeated by a fire hose.
Oh my god! I'm glad you brought this up because I was saying this. I was right whenever, because me and my wife were watching it, and I just look over at her with this blank stare. I'm like, the fire department. Like, I was like, you have the Flash and Supergirl, but it took the fire department. Like, I guess I would have liked the scene because it's them building the trust back with her. It would have made more sense to me had it them did that, and then she's like, you think I'm done or whatever, got back up, and then Supergirl and Flash. Because one of my favorite scenes with them working together was when she's using her super breath and he's doing the little like arm tornadoes, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, like the same type of attack. I don't know. But that part was silly to me. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, it wasn't very serious. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Silver Banshee I think didn't really do much in my opinion. The only sort of powers she displayed were her scream, obviously, and then she was a bit strong. But aside from that, she didn't really do much fighting either. Livewire mainly did most of the attacking.
Right, and Barry pretty much counteracted her screaming right off the bat with making the earpieces, more or less. Exactly. The only, not to, again, segue away from what we're talking about, but one thing I really hope that they do something in the future, because the whole time I was just sitting there, man, Cisco would be loving this stuff. Yeah. That's all I kept thinking the whole time is, man, he would be loving this. But
yeah, I mean, that just reminds me of that moment on The Flash where they go to in the first season, where they go to Star City and investigate Harrison Wells' death, and then he gets that photo of the Black Canary, and I just wondered how he'd react if he met Supergirl, and if he'd do something similar to that. That would be funny.
Right.
I think that's pretty much all we need to discuss. The only last thing would be, what do you think? Do you think Supergirl could cross over into the Flash universe? How do you think they're going to continue universes from this point?
I definitely hope it's not just yep, that's it, guys, like, period, end of story, like, time's over. I mean, there's so many different ways. I don't know the full direction Supergirl's going. I think that's what makes people interested in watching both shows. But I think it would be cool if Barry needed her help and something happened where, because one thing that I found interesting in the episode is we saw Barry wearing the same metal piece that Harrison Wells was wearing on his Reverse Flash uniform in the first season. So I'm like, is this something we're gonna find out? Like, because I didn't realize what you were saying, how they said that you'll see that point when he goes over to Supergirl's area. I'm wondering, is that something he figures out how to work? And like, because he just kind of showed up with it on. I was like, why is he wearing that? Like, wait, are we gonna? No, nothing. Okay, cool.
New type of jewelry or something?
Yeah. Right. But I hope they do cross them over again. I mean, I'm thinking like Flash is trying to take out Zoom. He's gonna need all the help he can get. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I agree. Like, going back to what you said about the chess piece, I think that's what Harrison Wells put on that little like memory stick, the USB that he gave him when he came back from the future, because he mentioned tachyon particles in the last episode of The Flash when Barry went back in time and spoke to Harrison Wells. And that's what that thing on his chest does, was harness the tachyon particles. So I think that's what he does. So then maybe at the end of the next episode of The Flash, he'll not go back in time, he'll transfer universes over to the Supergirl universe, and that's what will happen after he's built that little device.
That definitely sounds possible, especially since we're going to go on yet another break for The Flash. They have to leave us on another cliffhanger, which is like the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you've only been back for 2 episodes.
I know. What do you know the date that it comes back?
It's like I know it comes back. I think the end of April. Like there's like another 2-week gap, which is just
another
which
one.
Is crazy. I know, it's just crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think, unless you have anything else to say, I think that pretty much wraps up the review. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No. I mean, the only thing I guess I could think of is since this is the first time me and you have ever done any sort of cooperation anything, that if anybody likes the stuff, that let us know, and we can always figure out a time to do other weekly reviews, or every so often when it's a landmark event, I'm sure we could figure out something if people enjoy them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If, as he said, if you liked this type of video, or you want to see more of me and A-List collaborating on things, make sure to let us know in the comments. Make sure to go over to A-List's channel, check out his videos, subscribe to his channel. He makes great content, and subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you for watching, guys. A-List, say goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for being awesome and watching into this.
Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.